I just picked up the new M4 iPad Pro, and I wasn't really planning on getting a new iPad. I saw that they were coming out with new iPads, and I have a third generation M1 iPad Pro. Works great. I've had it for 3 years, no problems whatsoever. But when they tell me it's gonna be so much thinner, I just could not help myself. All I really do on this thing is read, Reddit, YouTube, nothing fancy, but I hold on to this at least an hour every day, and I was just so tempted to see what this thinner form factor really feels like, looks like. This isn't going to be a review about how much of a beast the M4 is versus the M1. We all know it's going to be better on the Geekbench and rendering video, etc. Honestly, I'm not using it for that. I just want something nice and thin and light because I really appreciate that design. So let's take a look, let's open it up and see if it's really worth the hype, and we'll get into it. Let's see what we've got. This is very thin. I would say noticeably thinner. Here you can see side by side the new and the old iPad Pro, and it is noticeably thinner when you're looking at them on the table against each other like this. I also got the same Smart Folio magnetic attachment for each one, and that evens it out a little bit more seeing them next to each other. But if you look at this thing, stack up a few credit cards next to it, I mean, this thing is very thin, and it looks good. The other big difference between these two tablets is the new screen technology, with the new M4 iPad Pro having the OLED panel. So we can see here, new versus old. Let's take a closer look though. Okay, can you guess which is which? We've got old iPad Pro over here, new over here. I'll tell you, it does look like much better colors on this one, better brightness, better contrast. So this is pretty convincing, actually, looking side by side. I didn't want to just look at video, though. Here you can see looking at some articles through Flipboard, both at the same full brightness, and also some reading. You can see a bit of a more natural tone on the OLED and new display on the left, but again, on the right, it really does look fine and it's readable, absolutely. At the end of the day, though, to me, the real question is that weight difference really noticeable when you're sitting there using the iPad, reading, browsing, whatever? So I spent some time using both the new and old iPad right next to each other with the Smart Folio, without, and trying to really feel, is there a noticeable difference? Is it worth the upgrade? At the end of the day, after using both of these for quite some time, back and forth, trying to get a real feel for the difference, I've actually determined, for me, this new iPad is not quite worth it. I already said I'm not a big creative person. I'm not using Final Cut on this or anything. But just for kind of sitting there using it day to day, after a few hours, I'm not really noticing that big weight difference. And again, that's the main reason I got it. The screen does look better, but if I don't have them side by side, I'm probably not going to notice. So this one's going to go back in the box, return to Apple, unfortunately, and I'm going to go ahead and stick with the third generation iPad Pro. I think it does plenty. It still feels light, good design. Just don't think this new one is worth it at this point. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.